for today's talk about Boogiepop. Alright guys, welcome to the CodeX Cantina. It is me, Una, and no crypto today. So today, you're going to get stuck with just me to be talking about our nearest and dearest friend, Boogiepop, Volume 1. This is a 3-volume omnibus, and I think this is a good awareness for those that haven't at least heard about this. You can get 3 light novels for the price of $10 right now on Amazon, and it's being pushed right now by 7Seas, and they said that if they can sell enough of these, right now they're only putting out the first 6, they'll put out more. So should you check this out? That is the question of the day. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different format than our usual reviews when I do these light novels. I think this was a good light novel. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it, but I would say there are parts of it I enjoyed more so than others. I won't get into spoilers yet. It's worth noting that this has a lot of heritage value. This did come out in 1998 and kind of started a lot of the light novel craze. It's interesting to go back to the roots and find out where it started. And it's interesting that it started with more of a more mature audience too. Obviously very clearly going for the middle to late teens with this. For me, partly why I struggled with this one is I feel like I need to keep reading in order to give the series a just review, so realize that this is just looking at the first volume and how much satisfaction did I get out of the first 200 pages. I need more. They started a lot of really interesting questions in terms of, there were some religious subtext in here, and there were also some subtext about what makes a person a good person. You get a lot of questions raised about the organization and the main character of this, but I will say you don't get fully satisfied. This is definitely either a light entree or just a heavy appetizer, and you're going to want to consume more. So if I were to talk about just the first volume by itself, let's jump into spoiler territory. So the plot, as I gather, is a long time ago, some outside, you don't know what sent it, but this being came to our world called Echoes, which is one of the most unique characters I've seen, where it can't create its own words. It has to repeat back words it hears in your text in how it replies. And I think this could have been done a lot better than how it did get executed, but the concept is brilliant. But the idea that he was sent here to check out whether our world deserves to keep living, that is, I think, a very interesting thing. It raises questions about where he came from, what was his race, why do they care whether we continue living or not? Kind of like if you've seen the movie Prometheus, it's similar, where you had the original engineers that created the alien weapons, if you will, and why did they decide to destroy the human race and send aliens over? I think it's just an interesting concept, but unfortunately it's kind of lost because, again, we're in spoiler territory. Why did they drop that, and all of a sudden it seems like it's going to be, the next few chapters are going to be about this TOA organization, which I think if it's going to be about the TOA organization, as far as I'm aware, they didn't make any appearance in this at all. And they raised some really interesting questions with, Echoes when he passed away turning into light. There are some references to him being an angel that I think this brings up some heavenly power questions. Maybe they're explored in subsequent novels of this, I'm not sure. But I will say it does seem wasted if we don't go back and fully explore that. In terms of how this one broke down, I think there was kind of 5 main chapters with some interludes. Chapters 1, 3, and 5 with, Takeda, with the semi-psychopath, I want to say, Masami, and the last chapter with Nitoki. Those were definitely the most interesting to me. I think Masami was definitely the most dynamic character in this, in terms of, yeah, he's a psychopath, and he said he loved the monster. The monster says he loves him, the manticore, but did they really? If you're a psychopath, it is still possible to love. When you're a psychopath, you're on a scale. And what I think is interesting is you trying to figure out where he is on that scale. Is he high enough where he has no empathy or ability to kind of relate or have those emotions, or is he high enough or not? Even if he were high enough to not have empathy or the ability to love the way like true deep psychopaths are, sometimes they still have this interesting dynamic where they want to be loved. So even though they can't love themselves, they still seek that affection from others and are master manipulators at getting that affection out of others. Boy, wouldn't that have been interesting to have seen them, to see that kind of explored with Masami, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. And the whole plot line just kind of ended very quickly with Boogiepop. Boogiepop definitely pulled the If you've seen the movie Beetlejuice, you know, he's in that movie for 17 minutes of the, I want to say it's like a 91 or 92-minute long movie. That's what Boogiepop was for this first edition. He was in it for the first chapter and then kind of showed up to save the day at the end and said, I just had to make sure I knew where the evil was before I'd poke my head in and do some stuff. Definitely wanted more of him, and I thought the relationship between him and learning more about Toko was definitely interesting. I would love to have seen what would happen if Boogiepop wasn't just one person, if he were able to take on other people, and via the things Boogiepop does in those other people, when he does take over your body, do those people learn more about themselves, their own weaknesses through that? I think that would be an interesting way to explore those dynamics. And my understanding is that there is a one-off manga with Boogiepop where it's kind of like a what-if, and it's not by Kadono, that so it's not officially canon, but it does kind of explore that. I might want to check that out just because I think that angle is interesting. Right now, I would say Boogiepop isn't super interesting just from a first volume. I think the conversations in chapter 1 were great, but they didn't go many places. They raised some questions about, you see your fellow man suffering. Do you do anything to help them out? And kind of you see that a little at the end with Nitokike when she kind of tries to help out Echoes when he's getting attacked at the end. Masami, you can make an argument that he was helping out the the Manticore, but I don't think that's where they were going. But some of the other characters, it didn't have the best scenarios to insert them to complete that theme or make a full underlying meaning to make it super interesting to me. My understanding, there is some heavy existentialism and Carl Jung influences in this, but I didn't really pick up on them, nor did I think they were that strong. If they're there, to me, they are subtle enough that I think only if you're into that sort of thing does it really become clear. Right? It's not like this text will teach you about those, in my opinion. So overall, when I do these talks, I want to kind of break it down a little bit about why I did or didn't like certain things, some places that it can go. That's not to say that if it has flaws, that means it's terrible or not worth the read. I think it was very good. Overall, my rating of it would be a 7, and I definitely would like to continue, but I'm definitely going to probably take a break and do the Monogatari series next, and I'm hoping to get Crypto to join me in on those because my understanding is that there's a lot more to break down with those than just what was here in this book. So what did you guys think of Boogiepop? Do I need to continue with 2 and 3 to really pull out some more of these themes that I'm missing? Or is it really just stay kind of really light throughout all of this? I'd like to know. There's not much writing or analysis that I found online. So it'd be interesting to hear what you guys can fill in on the blanks for me with that. So with that, guys, we post videos every Monday, Thursday. And honestly, we've been doing 3 a week. We just commit to Monday and Thursday at a minimum. So please consider subscribing if you'd like to hear more book analysis, and I promise to do more light novels as we get more and more into this. Peace out, guys.